Right, I'm just gonna sit there for a while and see if anyone pops up with a question. Julian! Hope everything's good, man. Yeah, so any questions, just shoot and I will try to help out. So, you know, please come with questions, otherwise we'll start talking about politics. We don't want that, do Hey, Ryan. Actually, I'm gonna see if I can do this in my school community as well. Hold on. Let's see. Thanks, man. Just waiting for my wife to be done with her stuff. We can have a Sunday. No coffee today. Beer. I mean, to be clear, it is 6:15 on a Sunday, so. No, I don't get any finger joint pain so far. But I also think that's due to how I practice. So whenever I do any type of technique practice, I don't sit like trying to do it as fast as I can. Instead, I focus on relaxation and good technique and all that stuff. And then when I play for fun, is what I'm doing now, just fucking around basically, then I can, unless I do this for, just sit around and play fast for hours, I wouldn't get any type of pain. So, but it's very easy to overdo it on the guitar in terms of like pushing too hard, because it's hard to know what you're actually doing. Let's see. So that's something to be mindful of for sure. Do you find that you get that, Orata, finger pain? Yeah, I think that's one thing to keep in mind is like never sit like this. I mean, you shouldn't definitely not sit like this, but even like that, the more the angle you have here on your wrist is gonna impact the likelihood of you getting any type of carpal tunnel syndrome, where it's like you trap the nerve when you do this. You're probably fine if you sit around and have bad technique for 20 minutes per day, but if you start practicing for longer than that, it's not going to be good. It's kind of like if you work in an office and you would be sitting like this, and Karen comes out and like, hey, you can't sit like that, you will hurt your hands, and we should have all should have a Karen for our guitar playing as well, not sit like this. So, and I see this a lot actually, people like do excessive angles, and that's not good for you. Yeah, what is this about? It's really weird. What do you love it? Yeah. Is that a random thing, or is that the name of your channel? If you go to my practice room free community, and I'm trying to stream here at the same time, but there's no one in there right now. But if you go there, you can display your actual name inside. So I'm gonna give you a link to that, if I can. Yeah, I recognize your picture. So when did this happen? That's very stupid. What do you think about giving me 8 minutes on increase the speed? Absolute bullshit. Are you rage baiting me now, Meppy? Yeah, I think it's absolute bullshit. So that doesn't work. That's about as likely as you getting six-pack abs from whatever snake oil shit someone tries to sell you. Like, oh, 10 minutes a day for 2 weeks and you will have six-pack abs. Oh, really? Doesn't work like that. Takes way longer. And you know, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to say like do this for this amount of time and you can get this, but you can't oversell the transformation. So for what I have, for example, I have an 8 week alternate picking intensive. We're currently on week 8 now, and uh, that basically I said your picking will be way more accurate and clean than when you started doing this, but you won't go from no picking ability at all to Paul Gilbert level, right? Because Paul Gilbert wouldn't been able to do that either. It takes a lot of time, and that program, the 8 week alternate picking intensive was 1 hour a day, right? And people have done it and they have improved a lot, but you're not going to go from nothing to some significant like crazy level on 1 hour a day. You will get way better, and more to the point, you will learn how to practice properly, but it takes time. And I think the disservice these types of YouTube videos, and even worse if you have a course that claims some bullshit thing like that, is that it makes people who actually do it and then they don't get the promised results, they think it's something wrong with them. And that's where the problem lies, I think. So Ryan, do you find lifting heavy objects right before playing affects your touch? One time after loading some equipment into a practice. Yeah, for sure. Because you do that, you like really. If I've been lifting, weights heavy, it's tricky for me to be like really comfortable on the guitar, right after. It usually goes away within an hour or two. So, but I remember the first time when I started playing guitar and practicing properly, and I went train at the gym, and then I came back and I felt like, I can't play. My hands feel stiff. So I actually avoided weight training for a long time before I realized like, it's just a temporary thing, so it's no big deal. So yeah, but be careful though, because I had a student who he lifted some amp or something, and he didn't hold it properly, so he basically didn't rip something, but he hurt something in one of his fingers. So be careful about that. But if you carry heavy shit and then go straight into something that requires way less tension, you definitely gonna feel some type of way about it. But it shouldn't be sticking around for a long time. No, that affects anyone. But it can be, scary the first time you realize it. You're like, what the fuck is going on with my technique? can probably get it way faster. But when, let's say you get up to whatever speed, right? Uh, Arbitrary, like 200 BPMs at something like that. Uh, it will take you way longer to get faster from there than it took you to get there. I think it just takes more practice. So that's what I think. I don't think unless unless you've been practicing for like 8 hours a day and you're practicing everything correctly, I don't think you reach your natural limit, even close to it. But I think it takes more practice or longer time to reach the next level once you get up to a higher level. It's just like, if you look at like the uh, 100-meter dash in the Olympics, they shave off like hundreds of a second, and that's like a huge thing. But when they started running, maybe they ran like 12 seconds, and it was really fast. But then they got down to 10 seconds with like huge difference. But then once they start going below 10 seconds, every like little increase will take mountains of work compared to the initial thing. So I think that's more of a thing. I'm currently working on a 12-note long picking lick. Long-term goal is to make it to 14 notes per second. Currently on 10 to 11 notes per second. I'm trying to spend more time. So, well, I mean, it doesn't really matter much, if it's not clean, right? So it's so I've never been, believe it or not, I've never been like, oh, I need to get this up to 200 BPM, because it doesn't really matter, right? Because it's like, what are you getting up to 200 BPMs? Because there's a big difference between a chromatic thing like that, or even just on one string, or doing something more like whatever, like more involved sequence. So yeah, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have goals like that. That's fine, but uh, the danger of having like a speed goal like that is that it can be, you kind of want to get there, and you only go for one metric, like, am I faster now or not, instead of actually, how does everything sound when I do this? Like, does it actually sound good? I change picks here. It all matters if you write a specific person. Yeah, but also, I mean, I think if you have the higher your ceiling for your technique, the better off you will be, because you can be more relaxed at a slower tempo. But I think that I talk a lot about with my private students in the Practice Room Pro, link down below, is you need to start with what your goal is, right? So if your goal is to learn a specific song or whatever, then it's going to be quite easy to see where your deficiencies lie, right? So you can see like, oh, I'm trying to learn this Dream Theater song, but I can't play this picking thing to save my life. Well, then you need to work on your picking. But then a better approach, instead of just sitting working on that specific lick, is to look at, okay, so it's 3 note per string type of thing, and I'm not really good with that yet. Work on a routine that covers 3 note per string, so you can learn things outside of the lick as well, so you're prepared for the next thing you're trying to learn. So you build your technique that way. But, so it's inspired, or it's guided by what you want to be able to do, but it's not the whole thing for you. Same thing with songs, songwriting. If you take someone like Guthrie Govan, for example, I don't think he works on technique at all in that regard, like that he's trying to get faster. I just think he has tried to get better ideas, because I think he's fine with whatever speed he has. But if you're like, you want to write stuff like, again, just token example here, like Dream Theater, but your technique level is like, you can barely skate through a random AC/DC song, then you have some work to do. But equally, if like, yeah, I just want to write AC/DC stuff, and AC/DC is not easy either to get it to sound, you know, perfectly with that attitude and all that stuff. But as an example, it's a lower technical level, objectively, than Dream Theater. But so if you reach that level and you can do whatever you want there, then you can just explore the music there. So I do find like you need to know what do you need the technique for, and then you're gonna know like how much do I need to spend here to get there without being so frustrated. Because one of the most frustrating things is to, you know, writing something and you're like, shit, I won't be able to play this. I really have this cool part I want to play, but I can't do it. That's super uninspiring. So yeah, but that should then hopefully make you more inspired to actually sit there and go to build that technique. Hey, what's up, man? Well, that's good. I'm getting recommended. Thank you, YouTube. Hi, Monstay. No, I'm not a jukebox. Also, if you check out Eric Johnson, he will make a very much better version than I would. Yeah, exactly. But that's what I mean, Nippe. But that gives you something to work towards. It's it's not just, oh, I'm gonna work on my technique, you know, because you can do that all day every day and still not be like super happy with your direction, because there's so much stuff you can work on. But if you start with that thing that you want to do but you can't do, and most of the time when you can't do something is because your technique is lacking. It can also be that you know, something else, but usually it's a technique problem. So guitar playing. So it's and you can apply this to anything. Like if you're trying to get better at improvising, instead of being like, oh, I want to be better at improvising, you need to understand what's holding you back, right? So if you're trying to play over a track that's like around this tempo, and you're trying to do, and you find like, oh shit, my 16th notes at 102 BPM track here sounds crappy, then you can work on that specifically and get better at that. But it's not random. It's not just like, oh, I'm gonna work on my timing. You have a more specific playground, if that makes sense, or a more specific problem. Like, all right, so 102 BPMs, or around like 100 to 110, and then you can look for, you know, phrases from your favorite players around that tempo, and you can go through different subdivision. Sorry, you can go through different permutations of the subdivision and really dive deep into the area that holds you back, and that way it will improve much faster than to try to be general about things. I've heard Paul Gilbert say his playing is left-hand driven, meaning legato, right? My right. Yeah, but I think he's right-handed as far as I know. But what I think he means is that he started, you know, doing a lot of the Van Halen, you know, half-picked, half legato stuff, and also his you know, legato was really good, and he actually said that it took him like 7 years before he actually could start doing all the picking stuff we think of when we think of Paul Gilbert now. At least I think of. But he has a good point though, because he said like, if you start working on alternate picking, but your left hand or fretting hand isn't really playing along, you won't be able to do it anyway, because you need both hands to synchronize to do it. So, I've been playing on and off for 20 years, and I've come back to play after 4 years now, and kind of feel lost and want to practice. That was comeback, and I wasn't amazed when I stopped. Yeah, that's a common problem, man. Well, check out the Practice Room Pro, and that's exactly what I do there. So we build a practice plan for you. And I work in like 12-week cycles because that's enough time to really make progress on something, but it's not too long that it feels like forever. So check that out. I think that will be a good fit for you. John, for adding a profile pic to the practice is there a trick? It won't let me find. I don't know actually. Shouldn't be a trick, but what kind of a? How big is it though? Can see a membership request here, Jason. There we go. Did you get it to work? Uh, Mr. Landonian, at your skill level, what do you find most challenging? All kinds of things. Is getting better at improvising, getting better at so much stuff. It actually the more you know, the more you realize you don't know. So there's not. I could live 100 lifetimes and would have things to work on. That's weird. Maybe there's some. It should give you some message why, right? How do I go about rhythm playing? The most learning songs. So for soloing technique and stuff, I find exercises really good because there's so many variables. But for rhythm guitar, just learn songs because you can use the riffs as exercises. I've never understood that whole thing like you buy a rhythm guitar book and then you learn like some half-assed Metallica, not rip-offs, but like, oh, this is clearly inspired by Metallica, but why would you sit there and practice something that isn't what you want to play if you want to play Metallica? That makes sense. So. Hey, Ian. No, I alternate pick. No economy picking there. Nothing against economy picking, but I use that more for things like that. And obviously, sweep picking overall. So I tend to alternate pick most scalar lines because I just find it easier to control it, even though you can potentially go faster if you economy pick stuff, but it's never been my thing. That's great to hear, Josie. I'm not surprised though. You should. I mean, you do it 1 hour per day, and you do it, the way that we outlined, and that's impossible not to get results. The challenge is to actually stick to it because it can be boring as hell, but I think it's worth it. stages of guitar playing? Were there any techniques or even bad habits that you started doing or had to stop in order to progress? Yeah, I think I went down a lot of bad rabbit holes. One thing that I managed to avoid though was to, you know, this thing where you never use your pinky, because I early on found a guitar book, a Swedish guitar book, where he recommended doing these type of exercises, so you use all 4 fingers. So that was helpful, but no, this was a lot of bad shit that I did. So actually, I had students come to me like, it's like I want to, one in particular. I'm not gonna name names, but he was like, I want to do exactly what you did. I'm like, okay, like exactly. I want to do like everything you did. That's what I want to do. And I said, well, even if I could remember exactly what I did, that would be very silly because I did a lot of stupid shit. So let's say I could remember everything I did, and then I would be like, yeah, right, Mike. His name wasn't Mike, but Mike. Let's start here, and then you practice this way, and then in 5 months we're gonna realize that this road is shit. It's gonna be crap for your technique. Then we're gonna reassess, and then we're gonna do this instead. You see what I mean? It's like that's, you know, borderline retarded to do that, because it's like, obviously you want to learn from my mistakes or whoever you learn from, so you don't have to repeat that. That's why it's faster to study with someone who's done something, right? But that doesn't mean that you want to do exactly the same thing they did. You only want to do what worked for them so you can learn what they know faster. So that's the way. Yeah, I think the dividing it into 3 segments is key for this. Just so happens as well that it's really good to, you know, do it that way in terms of like single string and 2 string and, you know, multi-string. See how this goes. Live here. Yeah. Hold on, guys. Oh, Jason is in the practice room now. That probably doesn't make any sense to you guys, but basically I stream on my school community as well, so you can sign up here if you want to be there. Do you have any more questions? Really good questions today. Before I join my wife on the sofa. Thank you both. Appreciate it a lot. But you know, these streams though, it's just me fucking around, so the questions are key here for making it useful for you guys. So anyone who hasn't joined, okay, new membership request. Okay, I'm gonna let you. So I need to let everyone in manual here, because you wouldn't believe the turds that tried to get in to this thing. And I say turds because it's marketers. So they since this is a free group, they want to get in and send you DMs, and I won't let them. So I have some questions I need to answer, which is super easy to answer, but you mean like a fast run that doesn't have, line up with, yeah, then it's more like if you want to learn some English theme, right? If it goes like, let's see now. Okay, I'm gonna pick a key here. Okay, A minors, we go. Oh, no volume, that's weird. Let's check what's going on. Oh no, I know what it is now. It should work now. I had the noise cancellation on. Anyway, so if you, Josie, if you're trying to learn this, right, some English like that. What English doesn't do most of the time, I mean, I'm sure you can find a recording where, look, he did it here, but he generally don't do this. Meaning like really quantized, like you said, like, 16th notes. Because that sounds kind of stiff. So what he would do, he would more, aim for this note to be on the beat somewhere and go, try to get it, however fast it needs to go from point A to point B and land on the beat. And as long as you land on the beat, you're gonna be fine, right? And that can sound really cool. But to practice that, it's a shit show. You can't really sit and like, oh, okay, I'm gonna try to do that exactly. I mean, you can play along with the recording at a slower tempo. That's good as well. But I think to get the technique up there, you can just use whatever subdivisions you want. You can do 16th notes. Just to get the, once you can do 16 notes at that whatever tempo it should be, then you can start working on like, okay, so I want to get there with like, within this time frame. But then you know that, okay, I have the technique that I need now because I can play at that speed, but you got to that speed by doing it very subdivided. Then you need to work on lining it up with the recording as well. It's weird. It should be, might be because I'm streaming at 2 places. So I'm gonna keep this one open, and then once I'm done with the normal stream, I'm gonna go back and see. Anyway, so when improvising, do you see the neck as neither or both, depending on what you mean? No, I see it more like if I'm in E, for example, I see the E's here, and then I can see, oh, that's not an E, that's a G. So that's really only the note name that I'm concerned with. Because if I'm playing in E natural minor, I know I have my flat 7, flat 6, 5, flat 3, 2, 4, flat 7, 7, 1, 4, flat 3, 1, 7, flat 7, 2, 1. But I see it also mostly in solfege, which is like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, te, do. So I know where the notes are that way. Yeah. All right. Well, good questions today. I'll be back at some point.